whispering in the trees. It's two sailors and they're only pipes and chains and swinging hands. Who's your daddy? Yes, I am. Fat cat came to play. Now you can't run fast enough. You best stay away when the pushers come to shove. Zoot, zoot, riot. Throw back a bottle of beer. Zoot, zoot, riot. A bullet home through your cold black hair. Zoot, zoot, riot. Throw back a bottle of beer. Zoot, zoot, riot. A bullet home through your cold black hair. Blow, daddy. A whipped up, jitterbugging, brown-eyed man, a stray cat fronting out an eight-piece band. Cut me, Sammy, and you understand. In my veins, hot music ran. You got me in a sway, and I want to swing you down.
Oh, Zoot Suit Riot. Oh, man. Bring it back to the children of the 90s and early 2000s right there.
You couldn't see was us breaking it down earlier.
Dancing the Carlton. Which, interestingly enough, Carlton inspired by Tom Jones. So you have a white guy impersonating a black guy impersonating a white guy.
I didn't think about that.
It's a nice lineage there of alternatings to celebrate the Zoot Suit Riot for this Labor Day.
Hell yeah.
Throwing back coffee here, getting drunk off coffee, dancing to the Zoot Suit Riot.
Cashews and dark chocolate.
Yeah, cashews and dark chocolate. We're throwing down some 88% endangered species here and some organic raw cashews. So, before we forget, let's actually tell the people where to find us. Where do they find you, Samantha?
Trainlifefit.com.
That's it? That's the only place you're at?
That, and now my new facility, starting very, very soon. 4646 Mueller Boulevard. That's my space. Check it out. Should be on the website hopefully the next week or so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Don't you? You have a Facebook page too,
I
right?
do have a Facebook page. Facebook.com/TrainLifeFit. So you can find me there as well. Yeah.
You got to get your plug game up.
I know. I need to get that up.
It's all right. We're both trying to get our plug game up. All right. Well, you can. My central hub, where you can find out just all the different projects I'm doing, it is at CoachScottFrost.com. But really, become friends with me on Facebook. Just hit me up. I don't really have fans or anything. I just have friends. Don't have many friends, so we can all be friends together. So you can search for me on Facebook at C. Scott Frost. Fun little thing just sort of worked out, I guess, going into coaching is my first name is,
by the way.
C stands for Charles, which is kind of Charles Scott. So works out as Coach Scott as well. So find me on Facebook at C Scott Frost. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I do all my stuff. My Instagram game is on point. That's C Scott Frost as well. My Twitter game's pretty weak. I don't really have any Twitter game. I have a Twitter, just no game. So that one's at Coach Scott Frost. Don't even worry about that. Yeah, so follow me on Instagram. Be my friend on Facebook. Visit me at Coach Scott Frost. And if you have any questions for the podcast or you want us to answer anything, you can hit us up at wellbeingpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to hit me up for any sort of training, whether it's online or in person, if you're in Austin and you're not training with either me or Sumer, what the hell? So contact Sumer, contact me, and we'll get to training, and all that information is on my site. So, what else you got for me? What else you got going on?
For me, I just had a thought before we go into this. Just had this random thought.
I like thoughts.
After you finish the plugs, I was thinking there's so much more to come in terms of us collaborating together, events, seminars, workshops. This is just the beginning. This podcast is just kind of like a base camp. From here, it's going to sprout into all sorts of stuff. All for you guys We're doing what we love to do, and we love to give back to people.
Sprouted and grass fed.
Yeah, sprouted and grass fed. Love to give back to the people that are listening to us, or people that may come to find out about us through you guys. So definitely stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. This is just the beginning. Yeah, I think with me, let's see what else is going on with me. I am just, to be honest, I'm a little bit overwhelmed with everything that's going on. But at the same time, I am beyond excited. Not just for me, but for you as well, because a lot of big things are happening. You just signed the contract, right? Did you sign the contract for the Aztecs?
It was proposed, but I haven't signed anything officially yet.
Okay, so it has been proposed though.
Right, just there's some things that need to be tightened up with convincing, I guess, because the head coach is sort of runs the whole show. So I have the backing of the organization. I've never worked with this head coach, and I just need to kind of sit down and talk to him and kind of give him the rundown of what I can give this team. And I'm more just probably going to review and show him what we provided from last season.
How have the Aztecs improved from last season, ever since you've been their strength coach?
So I actually was able to get a hold of I make it sound like it was some CIA mission. All I did was talk to our athletic trainer to get the injury report from 2013 and then 2014. And the year before I arrived, which was 2013, the Aztecs had 10 serious injuries, as defined by the classification of a serious injury as being missing a game and requiring a visit to the clinic. I think in the classification of like a minor injury or like a tweak is that maybe you missed a practice but no games were missed, and that it didn't require a clinic visit. So there were 10 serious injuries. 9 of them were non-contact. So non-contact being really preventable. Hamstring pulls, ankle sprains, knees, MCLs, ACLs, things that were due based on form movement. They're preventable because they occurred not because someone hit you, but because you just broke down. One of the injuries, 7 out of 10, was due to a serious, actual contact injury, which is, you can't prevent that. That's sports. This year, so 2014, which is the first year I spent with the team, we had 2 serious injuries, both of which were contact. So that means that we went from 10 serious to 2, but really, that's not where the difference really lies, is that we went from 9 non-contact injuries to 0. So we dropped 100% in preventable or non-contact injuries. So I was extremely proud of that. And obviously the only 2 players who got hurt it was not preventable. Those were contact injuries. Those are just going to happen.
And I can imagine of course, to a sports team, that is invaluable. To have your players feeling healthy, they're feeling like they can perform at the top level. That's huge. So I don't see why they would not accept you. They should be running after your ass, because this is huge. That's a big market improvement.
I actually found out that one of the players who's already signed for next season was talking to one of my current athletes, and he was telling him about me. And this guy who's down in San Antonio was saying, "Oh yeah, I heard of him." And I was like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" He said he'd heard of me. I guess he was like, "Yeah, apparently he's next level." So I thought that was kind of cool. So I guess my players are talking about me, which is a real compliment. And I think what really mattered was not only were they healthy, but they got stronger throughout the season. We didn't break down. And coming into our last week before the playoffs, I called it. I said at practice to the guys on Tuesday, I said, on Saturday, we will see 2 pulls two guys will pull hamstrings in the other team. I said, we will not only not pull, but we will not have one problem with our hamstrings. Sure enough, Saturday came, 3 pulls for the other team, none for us. And I knew it. I could see where we were in the season. I could see how other teams, how their movement was starting to compromise. We were hitting August, dehydration, hot. Just the August. The weather in August in Austin is such a huge home field advantage, except when you're playing other teams in Texas. But and I knew that they were going to be tired, they were going to be losing position, and they weren't going to have the dominant hamstring strength to absorb that force. Remember what I said was that you shouldn't have to turn on your glutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
They should be dominant. Mm-hmm. Well, you shouldn't have to absorb with your hamstrings. They just should be dominant and should actually absorb the force of every step. And that's what I made a focus of for this season for our team, was to have a dominant hamstring that would absorb the force so that they wouldn't pull. And we were faster at the end of games. I mean, the comments on how our players were just running past people at the end of the game, being as fast as they were at the beginning, was also pretty rewarding. And all that work we did, we dropped all conditioning out about third way through the season, and they got faster and more sustained because I improved their efficiency, their positions, their strength, and then we worked a bit on top end speed just to open up their nervous system so it wasn't as taxing to be at the speeds they were at. So totally different perspective than has really ever been seen in soccer. And just mobility, tissue recovery, just constantly recovering those positions and making sure that at the end of the game they look like they did at the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's a big misconception in the whole strength and conditioning field when it comes to sports and athletes. I think a lot of strength coaches with their teams, they'll just run them to death. They'll just say, let's just do drills. Let's do agility drills, quote unquote agility drills.
Which is the biggest crock of shit that's ever been sold in the history. Agility is a freaking made up word. Mm-hmm. It makes me so mad because they're like, oh, let's do agility training. Mm-hmm. Agility? You mean change of direction. So to change directions, you only need 2 things. You need strength and acceleration. You need the strength to be able to absorb force, and then you need to be able to slow yourself down and then accelerate again. So agility, the way you train agility is you develop strength and force absorption capability, and then you play your sport. And all these people who want to sell, agility, I freaking can't stand the damn ladder. Like, the ladder makes you better at the ladder. And last time I checked, the ladder wasn't an Olympic sport.
Right.
Like, you want your body to be quick. You don't want quick feet. It makes me so mad. And, I had to sell the coaches in the beginning that they were like, how is this going to cross over to soccer? They're running in straight lines. And I was like, I don't care about the running in straight lines. I care about the fact that they can't hold position when they're standing. Like, we need to get them to be able to maintain an organized position and then fire the right muscles in the right sequences, absorb the forces properly, and they will last.
And that's the shitty thing about agility, is because you're training a faulty pattern over and over and over. So if you're deficient somewhere in the chain, you're going to train that same faulty pattern every time you turn, every time you change direction. So you're not doing yourself any favors by doing that at all.
I mean, get organized, get strong, work eccentrically, like absorbing, pulling down, and then be able to change from, because no matter what happens, no matter what game speed, no matter what change of direction you do, no matter how fast you're going,